What's good, y'all? We went so long without anything happening in the NBA world, and now in the past 4 or 5 days, we had 2 blockbuster trades that shake up the whole league. I think we all pretty much knew as soon as the Blazers got back Jrue Holiday in that Damian Lillard trade that they would be looking to move him pretty much ASAP. I wasn't sure if they were going to wait to the trade deadline or before the season, and they chose to do it before the season. There was pretty much every single team in the NBA looking to trade for Jrue Holiday. I know the Lakers were in it, the Knicks were in it, the Celtics, obviously, who ended up trading for him, the 76ers even threw their name in the hat, the Miami Heat. There was a bunch of different teams. So let's take a look at the offer that they accepted from the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics sent over Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, a 2024 top 4 protected pick from the Golden State Warriors, and a 2029 unprotected first round pick over to the Blazers in exchange for Jrue Holiday. I'm going to do this in the same format that I did the Damian Lillard trade video. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go check that one out. But I'm just going to go through the perspective of the Celtics first, give it a grade, then the perspective of the Blazers, and give them a grade. For the Blazers, though, I'm giving them a grade on the entirety of the Damian Lillard trade, since this is still a part of that trade. In case you guys didn't see my preseason preview of the Boston Celtics, the main issue that I had with their roster was that they had no real playmaker on it. Since they traded Marcus Smart, he was their main guy, averaged, I think, around 7 or 8 assists last season. They traded him away. They had no one. They had Derek White that was going to run their starting point guard, which, I mean, he could be cool. He's a decent playmaker. But now with Jrue Holiday coming in, he's basically, in my eyes, an upgraded version of Marcus Smart. Now, I know Marcus Smart won that Defensive Player of the Year award. I think that was 2 years ago now. But Jrue Holiday is the better perimeter defender, in my opinion. He is also a great playmaker, like I said, the two of them. And the biggest thing is Jrue Holiday can actually shoot the ball very, very well instead of Marcus Smart, who struggles to do that. And I think that Jrue is going to be able to fit into Boston's scheme much better because they love to shoot threes. Pretty much everyone on their roster, on the floor, needs to be able to shoot a 3, and Jrue Holiday, like I just said, 40% shooter or close to a 40% shooter. And then when you look at what they gave up, I am a little bit disappointed that they traded Robert Williams. I'm a pretty big Robert Williams guy. I just like what he brings defensively, how he's so versatile. He's a great rim protector, but also has got really quick feet and can guard on the perimeter. But I'm sure they brought in the fact that last season he was struggling with those injuries and couldn't really stay healthy and stay on the floor. That's a big part. The best ability is availability. That's a saying for a reason. And the fact that they were able to bring in Porzingis in that Marcus Smart trade, he can be that second big to run next to Al Horford, and they could stagger each of those guys and have Al Horford run the center, then Porzingis and Al Horford. They don't have too much big man depth beyond that, though. They still have Luke Kornet, who was pretty decent for them last season. But, I mean, when it comes playoff time, you do not want Luke Kornet touching the court, respectfully. And then the other guy they traded away, Malcolm Brogdon. They've been wanting to trade Malcolm this whole offseason. They wanted to trade him instead of Marcus Smart in the Porzingis trade, but I think he was hurt or something like that. It couldn't. And then after that, reports came out that Malcolm was a little, upset about that, which, I mean, rightfully so. They wanted to trade you. It's probably a little bit awkward being in that locker room at that point. So I'm pretty sure they were trying to work on a way to get Malcolm out of there. And they did, and it ended up netting him Jrue Holiday, which is incredible. Then when you look at the draft capital that they gave up, that Golden State Warriors pick this season, unless some crazy thing happens, it's probably going to be like an early 20s, late teens pick. So that's going to be going over to Portland. And then a unprotected 2029 pick. I know that's super deep in the future, but when you have this good of a team, and just to put the cherry on top of Jrue Holiday, I don't really mind it. So with all that being said, the Boston Celtics get a B+ on this trade. Really, really good trade. I love Jrue Holiday in this system. Like I said, I think he's going to fit perfectly. I wish they didn't have to give up Rob Williams, but I mean, every other piece that they gave away, I'm completely fine with it. I think they definitely got value, and they got better in this, which is the most important thing. It's going to be a very fun Eastern Conference Finals between the Bucks and the Celtics. I will tell you that. It's going to be a bloodbath. Now to look at it from the Blazers' perspective, like I said before, I'm going to be taking a look as a whole of the Damian Lillard trade because this is still a big part of it. So in totality, what they got for Dame as of right now is DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Toumani Camara, and then 3 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. This is much closer to a package that I would have expected in a Damian Lillard trade. This is going to sound crazy, but this is much closer to what the Jazz got back last year for Rudy Gobert. They got the young pieces of DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams. They got the other salary fillers of, Malcolm Brogdon and Camara. I mean, he's still a young player, but I don't really know how much he's really a part of this trade or going to be a part of the Portland Trailblazers. And then they got 5 total first-round picks. That's a haul that you get from an all-star player. That's what you should get from Damian Lillard. And then Malcolm Brogdon is going to be really easily movable. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that are already calling the Trailblazers phone right now. I know Woj put out a tweet. I'm pretty sure they're going to be trying to move him before the start of the season. And I am very sure that there are plenty of teams that will be willing to give out a first-round pick for the reigning sixth man of the year in Malcolm Brogdon. He's an incredible scorer, pretty good playmaker too, can defend, great shooter. He just does a little bit of everything at that point guard position, so I'm sure they can easily move him for some more draft capital. The one thing that I thought was a little bit interesting though was the fact that they said they were probably going to keep Robert Williams and run him alongside DeAndre Ayton, which I think is going to look interesting. Jeremy Grant is still on their roster making a whole lot of money though, so I would assume Robert Williams would be coming off the bench, and then when they do actually play together, the spacing on that, it seems really bad in my opinion. I know DeAndre Ayton has that mid-range that he can hit and the floaters and everything, but still, when you have two true centers on the court at once, I don't really like that. I do think though that the defense is going to be pretty solid. I know DeAndre Ayton isn't the best shot blocker or the best defender, but I saw a video of him arriving in Portland. He seemed really amped up, really excited to be in a new space and everything. So maybe that can, energize him and make him more encouraged to be good on defense, because we know he has the tools, super athletic and everything. And then with Robert Williams, he knows how to play next to another center like he was doing in Boston with Al Horford. So he can guard the perimeter. He can be on the help side blocking shots. He can be down low also being the main rim protector. So I really like how versatile he is on defense. I think defensively them two together can be really well, but on offense, that's where things just get really murky. But if it ends up not really working out with them together, like the same thing with Malcolm Brogdon, I'm sure there are plenty of teams that will be willing to throw a bunch of first-round picks, not a bunch, but a few first-round picks or some young player or whatever to try to get Robert Williams. I saw on Twitter there was a mock to somehow getting Robert Williams to Dallas. If he could play in Dallas with Luka, wow, that would be incredible. I forget what the full thing was, so I'm sorry for even bringing it up, but if you've seen it on Twitter, it seemed decent. In my Dame trade video for the Blazers, I think I gave them a C+. I originally gave them a B-, then I audibled to a C+. Now they're bumping it all the way up to a B. I really like that this return came back. They got way more draft capital. They got another young piece in Robert Williams, so now they have two. Again, the fit is a little weird, but they could still move on. And then same thing with Malcolm Brogdon. Again, they can also move on and get even more capital. Portland is going to be a very fun team to watch next season. They're going to be very bad as well, don't get me wrong, but they will be fun at least. I'm super excited to see Scoot play with these two great lob threats. Having those two big men in the pick and roll with him, I'm sure is going to really increase his game. And then, of course, Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, too, along the perimeter. They're going to be fun. They're probably going to have some games where they score a whole bunch of points. I'm excited to watch. Let me know what you guys think about this trade. Tell me who you think won. Was it the Celtics or was it the Blazers? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch ya.